Hey, gang. I'm finally back. Yes, I know y'all missed me. You got Lady Hippy at the bar here. Yep. Social Woodstock. Everybody can come and go. I've had one of those, 4 days. Once again. Yes, I mean again. Yeah. It's just like a loop. Freaking goes away. Robert's down. He doesn't feel good. He's actually managed to bring his appointment. Excuse me, I'm still doing all the hats here. So, yeah, there was a speck there somewhere. Yes, I see myself. That's all I see. It's for entertainment purposes only, as y'all know. And if you do see me and you like it, hit the like. If you don't, that's okay too. Hit the like anyway. What do you think I was going to say? Yeah. Yes. I haven't been here for 4 days. Okay, guys. Share, hit the like, subscribe even. You can always get rid of me in a day. That ought to be fun if you really don't like it. I don't know. I've never subscribed to one I didn't like suddenly. Although I have weaned away a little bit. I do still love my paranormal subscriptions. I generally go with those. So, what the hell's going on, guys? Let's see. With me, everything that could go wrong from jewelry to lipstick to clean house has happened since I decided to go on air. Y'all know I come on between 10 and 12. And see, we're still echoing a little bit here. And I'm running a little late today since it's already 1 o'clock. I'm going to try to throw one in real quick because there's some shit hitting the fan like everywhere. Those of you involved with the Olympics, bad show, bad, bad, bad. Just slap him once, slap him again. Should be done. Right now, I was trying to figure out what was also going on in the world. Besides here, it's the same old shit, different day. Same with the rest of the world. I'm suddenly seeing people protest that there's too many immigrants, that Sharia law is being enacted, and this kind of thing. This is after 20 years of open Muslim rhetoric for 20 years, not just in my country or in Canada or in the UK, but in France, in the Netherlands, in Denmark, in Spain, in Italy. Everybody is suddenly coming around and going, "You've taken our country." Well, no shit, Sherlock. Why have you been sitting on the fence for 20 years? I've been calling that shit bogus for over 20 years. Before 9/11 happened, hell, before they bombed the Oklahoma Center. I was saying, when I came back from Europe, this is an open terrorist fun job here. This is so many soft targets that even their soft targets have soft targets. And yet I didn't hear nothing until, not even when McVeigh took down the Oklahoma building and killed a lot of people, a lot of children. Even then, they weren't saying terrorists. They weren't saying homegrown terrorists, which is a good thing because none of us really like that shit, as veterans. You're not putting us up in a flaming hotel, so you need to keep your mouth off of us. Just saying. Anybody out there, come back. Yeah, Joe Rogan. Shout out to Joe. Great. Love your podcast. I'm loving your commercials. I can recognize people's voices when I hear them. And he's been doing a lot of commercials, so boyfriend's got some stuff in the can. Those are the rest of us. We're just out here being stupid. I do not make money at this. I know it's shocking, isn't it? You thought I was getting rich with this stuff. I thought so too. Not so much. At least it's free to do it, which is why I still do it. And I've got a few encouraging people behind me. You have to excuse any mess you see because I swear to God, the house imploded sometime after 9 o'clock this morning, just about the time I had, the hour left there before I went on air. Hence my arriving at 1. And it's not just me. Like I said, the entire democratic world is now seemingly surprised by the fact that their homeless are still in the weather, roughing it, and their immigrants are still in the hotels and trashing the shit out of them. So who didn't see that coming? Yeah, I saw that coming. I saw that coming since 1983. Serious to God, I said this crap a long time ago. There was no reason for the people that be, the powers that be, that they couldn't see that shit. It's the same thing as saying, well, former President Trump was startled when a piece of his ear went off. Okay, startled. I have something in my mouth now. Sorry. But yeah, startled. Really? They're going to go with startled? I actually heard one couple, shame to say, looked to be about my age. We will not talk about age. Just get over it. Y'all know. Was sitting up there going, now Trump did that stuff. I almost believed it. I was like, oh my God. And of course, I give the guy credit that was doing the interview. He said, so former President Trump killed one person and seriously wounded two others in his audience so that he would have a slight dent in his ear. Oh, yeah, yeah. He doesn't care about people he kills. Now, if that doesn't terrify y'all, nothing will. It terrifies the hell out of me. Absolute terror. It's the same thing when they decided, I love the czar thing. I'm not sure why. I know it started during the Obama reign, as in king. Been doing some stuff back behind the scenes the whole time. This guy's been flipping around. And by the way, we all know there were body doubles in there. One guy was so squinty you couldn't tell if he had his eyes open. And Biden's old, but he has round eyes, and they don't do that. They just don't. And actually, the letter they released online that had a rubber stamp signature, by a machine. He didn't come up there for a while. They just put that little letter out there. Yeah, he's not going to run. So they're going to have the vice president run for what? You mean run away from? Because again, the Tsarina thing comes up. Although you say czar, she was the czar of the border created by who? Oh yeah, Biden. I can't give him another term. I mean, physical verbiage to describe who he is, other than a piece of shit who's been a waste of space for 50 years in D.C. I can say that. They will probably take it down, but truth will out. Eventually. I had been wondering also who Tommy Robertson was. This is a young man that people should pay attention to. They've been trying to set him up and put him in jail and everything else to shut him up in the UK. This boy talking like he know what he's talking about. I like the boy. I just sat back and decided to find out who he was. And then I was like, oh, I like this guy. He talks like me. The truth. And the truth being, you have homeless veterans and many times their dogs, etc., homeless and their families in some case in the streets. You didn't put none of one of them up in a hotel, so why do you think people are okay with that crap? Oh, I know you've walked it for 4 years, but people have had enough, rightly so. Now, this Tommy Robertson's been saying this crap a long time, but they kept labeling him racist. My stiffener. My husband gets these for me. I've showed y'all. I have they're little bottles like the airplanes used to have. I'm not sure if they do that anymore. I know I've gotten drunk on many an airline. Who knew? So my husband gets me a stiffener. Sometimes I need those. Like today, it's been a royal pain in the Oh, oh that's good. Cinnamon. So I'm just rambling. It seems like I know. I truthfully, like I said, I don't even know where to start this time. We'll start with that one. Yeah, we'll start with that one. And so we've the very first day that this attempted assassination and the murder of one and the attempted murder of two and the attempted assassination / murder to the former president, soon to probably be your next president, irregardless, he's a former president. And they were trying to strip a Secret Service detail first. Y'all knew that, right? I know, right? It's just like, sure, them hands. Does everybody really believe that the Secret Service, the state police, the city police, the county police, the sheriff's department didn't pick out that there was an active shooter climbing a silver and red ladder up to the roof 130 meters away from said former President Trump before he ever took the stage? You could see that damn ladder from space. Yeah, the International Space Station called and said, you got a shooter on the roof. That guy in the crowd that's pointing to us, you should really look over there. None of them caught that. My ass. I mean, serious to God, this was supposed to be a 20-year-old who had no training, but he did go and train himself the day before the shooting. Was good enough to kill one man, nick the former president in the ear, and seriously wound two others. They don't talking about that part. He just got startled, the former president. Trump did when that shot come from behind his ass. Now, mind you, his hand went up and it was a nanosecond later, it hit the ground. Again, I like to point out that these bunting and things you see are really steel. So he knew he had some cover there, and that's why he chose behind the podium. The man's a graduate of West Point. He graduated military school, so forth and so on. And I know what that is. And that's a person who can react. And that's a person who can really guide your country instead of saying he's a racist shit. To me, it seems like a whole lot of Muslims are racist. They get right up there and they tell you, we are going to kill you. Either you convert to being a Muslim and you read the Quran and you obey Sharia law, or you're a racist. And this is in my country. I see one more person hold the Palestinian flag. God help me, hold me back. Really? And they're burning my flag? Oh, God help them. We fly the flag. People I know fly the flag. And we intend to keep on trying. Come get my flag. Come get my flag. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's going to sit back and go, well, they'll think I'm a racist. Now, the other thing I've been hearing a lot of questions on is, why would the country do this for 20 years? Why would they do this? They knew that our country was being taken over, that these people were doing this. Why did they allow this? Why are they still doing it? Well, you ever hear about that follow the money shit? Yeah, that's what they talk about. Follow that money. Mm-hmm. How much money do these politicians lose? And we're not talking about the kickbacks, the grafts, and so forth, that run through there like pharmaceutical companies and so forth. Would they have an endangerment to their funds? You bet your sweet dippies. There's a reason they want to stay in office. They don't even have the same health care plans that the guys that they're taxing do. They don't have the same Social Security. They don't have none of that. No. Well, look at the fact that Nancy Pelosi, when she was Speaker of the House, third one down from the president, if something offed him, she's the one to step in. So if there's something would have happened to him, like he would have died in office, which are probably what they were expecting, then the giggle girl would have been up as the VP. And then the House Speaker would have been the VP. Just History 101, Constitution 101, pick one. Yeah. So that's what was going on with that. And why would they endanger their beautiful livings that they got? Have you heard about the $30 refrigerator that Pelosi got? She needs to keep that job. Broad is still there. That broad is still in D.C. Why? Did San Francisco vote for this broad again? Lord only knows. They're a little weird. Yeah, I'm going to call it like I said. I don't really give a crap. That's what I think this is for. Because without this, there's a whole lot of shit that would have gone on about this assassination attempt. They've already decided to stop speaking about the man that was killed, or the two people. I've never heard yet about the two people that seriously wounded. I don't know how aware or how badly any of that the two spectators that were wounded or whatever. Nothing, not a damn thing. And in the beginning, all we heard was that he was a little startled, like it was a bee sting. I think they were trying to pass it off at that to begin with. But because people had cameras, because they were loading this up live to the various TikToks, X's, what the hell have you. I need to get back on Facebook. I've been doing this so long. I haven't really been on Facebook much. But yeah, that's why they couldn't stop this, because they tried it first. MSNBC, CNN, all of them, the political channels. They do not call them news channels because it's defamation. It really is. They're nowhere near a news. Do you know how many volcanoes are going off right now, folks? How many? Show of hands. Nobody? Yeah. There are 4 at least. I think there's 6. Who's counting? How many earthquakes? How many hurricanes? What happened in China? I find out most of my news from the Christian Broadcast Network, which you couldn't have paid me to watch 5 years ago. And now that's my go-to, because they are evangelizing in between, but when they're doing the news, they do so unbiased. They report the news. That's what it's supposed to be for. I don't need their dumbass opinions. Just explain to me why these people get up there with their own opinions and talk. They ain't nothing to talk about. They talking. They ain't nothing to talk about. And just why do they think their opinions bloom and matter to begin with? Who are these people? Why hasn't somebody called them out? Why hasn't anybody said that's not news? Yeah, that's just me. Bring it. I'm still waiting on these conversations. Then, of course, we move on from Trump made this all up and doesn't care if people die. I think that's a little backwards. Let's take his Secret Service personnel, make sure he gets shot during his run, since we couldn't keep him buried by the 34 counts of charges that were leveled against him in Florida and the charges that were leveled against him in Georgia, which both, by the way, cases are dismissed. That means, people, it's not a retrial, it's not a mistrial, it's dismissed. You never should have been there in the first place. Look it up. I love this fact because you can. You just go and ding, ding, ding. There it is. It's not like you have to go, what? And even then, not get a full picture. But back when I was growing up, Walter Cronkite told you the shit. I mean, it was going on. And that man got up there, he told what was going on. That was it. You knew. There were no gaps. There was no opinions. It was one broadcaster on a 3-program network. And if they interrupted your programming, which was free, by the way, back then, you just turned the channel. There were 3. 4 if you count PBS. Well, you know what happened. The people moved in that got to make money. That shit's still free, folks. That shit's in the air. They don't need this shit. They certainly don't need $1,500 to $2,200 a year from each family that has a blooming television. But that's what they get, and then some. That's why Virgin was able to buy space shuttles, basically. They made their own. Same thing with X. He's been able to buy it, which I think was formerly Twitter. I never used it. I don't know. I guess I'm a little off on my Facebook. So we've gone through all that. They've tried to rip the Secret Service people away when the courts didn't do what they thought they would be able to do. Then they went with the Secret Service personnel and get him out of there because they knew they were going to shoot the man. Why else would you take the detail from him? Why would it matter to them? Yeah, it matters if you're going to make him dead. What happens when you leave an unsecured area 130 meters from the former president, who they have vilified as if, I don't know, Cruella had come around and was looking for the damn Dalmatians again? I mean, this guy is he's worse than Hitler. They're actually comparing him to Hitler. Now, I did a lot of studies on that, and my adopted daddy, was a World War II hero in the Pacific. Yeah, Pearl Harbor. So I've investigated that until no end. To no end. Even when we got this and it was AOL, I was still looking for answers. You don't find any answers because you don't have what you do today. You don't have the stuff where you upload it so fast. If you see it, everybody else can see it. You can have 600 million people watching that same minute and a half. And not a one of us went, damn good shooting. I wonder how he got there. Boy, it's a good thing then people that was talking about him didn't get heard. So obviously they wanted to make sure that this guy killed him. They didn't do anything except take care for themselves. If you look at some of these videos, I'll put them out that way. And I'm sure many of us have, many of us have, whether we're veterans like me, I'm an Army veteran, or whether you're just a Joe Blow and you don't even have a weapon. You're like, nah, that's just, that's the first thing you do is secure the boundaries. You make sure that anything within a 14-mile radius is secure. Because obviously, if it's not, then you can have another John F. Kennedy on your hands. And that's what they were going for. They messed with the wrong man, because I do believe that this was a biblical moment. There is a passage about somebody being shot in the head and coming back to life. He went down. Nobody knew how bad he was. So they went over there. They finally got to the podium, guys, after the first 8 shots. A little bit later, you hear the 9th shot, which would be the Secret Service sniper taking out that boy, which has been talked about by those spectators in the crowd, which was they peeled his head back with 1 shot. But they couldn't see him before that. Didn't see him. None of them saw him, sheriff, nobody. They were told, but no, they didn't hear that. They didn't. Okay. Yeah. I can't believe that they think we're this stupid, but they do. And they're not far wrong. Everybody's been so busy being politically correct and not being racist that they turned their country into a piece of shit that they don't run, that they are now criminals in. And if they're veterans, they're even worse criminals. They're homegrown killers. So no respect even for those of us who served our countries, who died for our countries. Not me per se, but many did, both before my terms and after mine. And still, nobody has asked that I've heard why were we in Iraq for 20 years? Why were we in Afghanistan for 20 years? We were in these 2 wars so long that one Marine young man went into the Marines, and his grandfather was still serving the Marines. Now, that's a damn long war. I think the biggest that you could find after that would be the War of the Roses in England, which was 100 years. And yet, does anybody out there know? Joe Blow, do any of you guys know why? Yeah, I don't think we'll ever know why. Oh, weapons of mass destruction. They went through all that. They attacked this country in the 90s, late 90s, because they did invade Kuwait, the first war, the Gulf War. Then we had a second war. I don't know what the hell they're calling that one. So, Afghanistan, they died all the way till they let the last plane out. The 3 Marines that were killed by an explosion with the last plane out just a few hours later. And them giving Bagram a lovely airport to the Afghanis. If they survived the pogroms, which would come around from them, working with the Americans and the British. Nobody's asking those questions. I'd like to know why. And again, I call it social Woodstock. This is reasons that I think this media should be used. It's social Woodstock. You could get up here. They might take it off the air, but hopefully they won't shoot us. It's the same way that I mentioned Tommy Robertson in England, who's been back and forth. He's been talking about this for 20 years, like me, but they kept throwing him in jail because people listened. Yeah. I don't even know what trumped up charges they had on this man because he was never guilty of a blooming thing except for telling the truth. They labeled him a racist for 20 years, but now he has a following, and they just got him back out of jail. The people protested so much that they let him go. He hadn't done anything. He'd never broken the law, ever. But the United Kingdom's justice was such that he was in and out of jail continuously because he was not afraid to stand up and say, you can't teach my kid that being gay is okay. You can't teach my kid that wearing a dress is okay. If they want to do that when they're grown, that's up to them. But you don't put my 5-year-old grandchild in a dress. You don't take my 5-year-old and teach them the Quran because there's supposed to be a separation of school between the church and the state as far as governing, both the UK and here. They have parliament, we have senate. Just, it's not hard. I think it's funny. I love parliament because they have the little wigs on. And I don't know if any of you have seen it, but they have the opposing sides, just like our house and senate has. Yeah. So they jump up and down and they yell because the whole place will go great, but they're yelling and those little wigs are going up and down. Funniest shit I've ever seen. So we'll go from, that there's obvious to anybody with that brain in their head that this man they intended to kill that day. It's also worth noting that they don't say anything about the man that was killed, a father, a grandfather, a firefighter, retired. He died on the tops of his wife and children. He took the bullet. But that's not said by anybody but former President Trump. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I'm hoping people will actually listen to these things and go, yeah, I don't know why we're watching I call it ASSNBC. It's just me. I found that the German news is pretty good about the news. Believe it or not, I like the the IDF news, because it's news. If there's a volcano going off, as well as them finding a tunnel, they fit that in there. Not kind of like the American political channels. Totally different thing. A lot of talking heads, don't know shit. I don't know why they're opining up there. And yeah, that's a shout out to one of the guys from Fox. He always uses the word opine. I love that about him. And in any event, no, I'm not going to name his name. I don't believe in these channels anymore. I used to watch Fox continuously. It was in San Antonio at the time that they started. They were a free company, free television like PBS was back then. Hell, you can't even get PBS free now. You can't. They scramble every damn thing you got coming in there. And it's we've actually turned off all television. I only kept the internet. Well, then they divided that. So you have to have the way to get the web and the internet. So you have to pay them for both. It's the same damn thing. It's just one thing. Then, of course, during my little 4-day hiatus in between everything else that could go wrong, I was able to catch a few things, like the opening of the Olympics, the Summer Olympics in Paris. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's like, serious to God? Seriously? Oh, my God. It's one thing to not believe in God. That's up to everybody. I don't believe in pushing God or no God or what have you. Either side should convince somebody else. That's up to them. That's why they call it freedom of religion, freedom of speech, yada yada, ding 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 ding. Yeah, it's not so much. It's freedom of speech for Muslims in our country, Canada, the UK, Germany, France. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Not working out well, is it? No, it's not. And so the people have taken to the streets. And I'm surprised to see it's really coming down hard in the UK. But the thing I saw about Paris was, oh my God, this is the Olympics. This is not, okay, we're going to be LGBTQ, whatever the hell initials they have up there. Personally, it's none of my damn business, never was. I don't know why they think this is something you have to be in their face about. We don't go, we're heterosexual and get in your face because then we'd be called racist, you jackasses. We're not any more racist than you are. If you have a right to say what the hell you think, well, double up because I'm going to do the same damn thing. And I don't know where all the other cowards are, but get on the damn bandwagon and say something. Serious to God. Stand up, at least for your people and your country. If these people came here because they wanted to be free and they wanted to live in our country and they didn't want to live in Palestine, apparently anymore, then why the hell are they running around burning your flag, my flag, their flag is flying free? They're defacing our monuments. They're throwing trash in. They're doing all this stuff that's terrible. And Antifa, I found out to my detriment, was alive and well in every freaking country. And so there we have the beginning of the Olympics. First, you got somebody gay to pass the torch. Seriously, you have to shove it down people's throats. We don't, again, shove anything down your throat. That's why you get to be at LBGQ to whatever. But we're supposed to have this thrown down our throat. No, we're not. At what point do you say what is even coverage then? If you're going to go with, okay, we're going to go with this openly biracial, whatever you want to call them, mixed up person to pass the torch, then are they going to pass it to what we call a normal person? No, because we're racist. And so the whole Olympics, the whole Summer Olympics are racist as hell. Not only racist, but they're anti-Christian up front, in your face, devil time. Now, I'm not going to be one of those who thump the Bible. Again, that's something that we call freedom of religion. You could believe in the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. It doesn't really make a shit. Oh, by the way, the Torah is the Old Testament of the Bible, just so you guys know. The King James Bible. Anybody know why it's called the King James Bible? Okay, I'll tell you. It's called the King James Bible because James, the first king of both Scotland and England, who was, by the way, the son of Mary, Queen of Scots, who Queen Elizabeth I beheaded. That was her only child. She didn't see him after I think he was 2. And he became the first king of the United Kingdom, both England and Scotland, and I believe Ireland. I'm not positive. In any event, that's your King James. Anybody know how long ago that was? Yeah, look it up. I'm not going to tell you everything. Mm-hmm. King James. That's your Bible. And again, the Old Testament, basically the Torah. At least that part of it, those years. Even the Quran speaks of Jesus, Mother Mary. Okay? Those are real people. You can't get away from that. I saw the most beautiful painting of Jesus, Jesus Bar Joseph, I believe it's called. Christo being, we say Christ, it was a Greek word, Messiah kind of thing. So, but I saw this little girl who died. I think she was 4 or 5 years old, and she came back to life. She was able to cross over and come back. And when she did, she was something, and she still is, young lady today. She has the most amazing paintings I have ever in my life seen. And I'm talking, you can go to the Louvre, you can go to the National Gallery, all these things. I lived in museums most of my life. And yet I've never seen anything like this young lady has, this talent that she has. She has, I have no idea how big this painting is, but I would say it's at least one of my walls. Big ass painting of Jesus. And I saw this painting, and believe it or not, I saw it through the web. I had looked her up again, in particular about this painting that I hadn't seen of hers. And oh my word, I mean, it's as if this person is alive and sitting for this portrait. I can't describe it. The emanations from the painting alone reach out and just wrap you in a warm embrace that things are going to be okay, that you're loved, you're well, this thing. And I was shocked for some time. I went back and forth to the website for many weeks. I was very shocked at the way I felt. I had been to Rome. I had my son baptized there. I was stationed in Germany. And yet, this really shook me. It really did. I was more or less raised kind of what I call high Catholic, Catholics with, on high holidays. That was about it. Maybe a little Christian thrown in there. I don't really, organized religion bothers me. So I can't say that. For me, it was the study myself of all of these, the Bible Code included, and a few other things thrown in there. And I love the Left Behind series by Tim LaHaye and I can't remember the other young man. If can, but there's 25 of those. It might be 26 books. I have all of them. One of the best series I've ever read, and recommend it to others to understand, in particular, the Revelation section of the New Testament. And so that's, yeah. So if you just look up the young lady who is a painter, died and met Jesus and come back, you'll find her. She's a young lady now. Apparently, even the prints go for like 40,000. She has not, of course, sold that one. She has sold paintings, but that's the money. Bless her heart, and they're worth every penny. Even the reprint, like I said, if I had that much money, it'd be hanging on my wall. I don't have that much money. I wish I would be able to do it so that it was acceptable and able for everyone. But that would make much sense, I suppose. But again, it's an amazing portrait, and she has many more, and they're all just amazing. You have to see them. I wish I know. I can't remember her name. I'm 65 in 3 weeks, so some of that stuff doesn't stay. Again, we were talking about Paris, and the reason I got into the paintings was the Last Supper, painted by Da Vinci. And it's been restored, and it's been clean, restored. It's an amazing thing. For one thing, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but there's not a cup on that table, not one cup. There's no cup on that table for the Last Supper. Nothing. No drinking vessel of any kind is on that table. There's a disembodied hand that's about to cut off Mary's throat, it looks like. It doesn't belong to anybody. You can see the hands of everybody. And there's no way anybody, especially after it was restored, is going to tell me that the person sitting next to Jesus was not Mary. That was Mary Magdalene. They made her a whore and prostitute and all this stuff just because they could control things as long as they kept the women down. Sick. 2,000 years of that crap. And now we're getting the truth. Of course, the Vatican's coming out saying they accept people who are now, I don't know what else to call it. In my day, it was called gay. It's none of my business. I don't care. But it used to be illegal by the church. You couldn't even be buried in consecrated ground, let alone, like the suicides. You couldn't be doing that and be with the church, even though they had plenty of pedophiles and nuns bearing kids. Never any good. Yeah, popes used to amass whole armies, guys. Learn your history. The popes used to have armies. They used to run the country of Italy and many other countries. Friday the 13th, we get that from what? The Templars arrests and everything on the 13th, on a Friday the 13th. Mind you, 3/4 at least were missing from that, and they never did find their loot. It was the camaraderies, the castles, so forth, the places that they had made fortifications. They could take all that. But they never got more than a handful of the Knights Templar. I thought it was interesting to translate the Portugal to Port of the Grail, and that's another story entirely, but that's fascinating. You should check that out. But again, there was no cups on this table in this painting. And I have investigated this a couple of ways. There's one guy who's found musical notes, a scale of musical notes along it, different interpretations. Yesterday, I saw, or maybe it was the day before, I saw a completely heinous interpretation of the Last Supper. I was just so sick to my stomach to see this. Why would they have to tear down another religion and still be saying you have to listen to us because we're equal? Who cares? Of course you're equal. That doesn't give you the right to misuse my religion because I'm not misused uh, up with any religion. And yet the Pope has come out and said you're more than welcome in the congregation, which is a major thing. Totally the 21st century thinking. And to get more people in that way, just Pope John Paul, Saint Pope John Paul II's advocate, Saint Princess Diana, Saint Mother Teresa. These two of them have been canonified. Check all that out. Again, I don't want to thump a Bible, but understand where it's from. Understand where you come from. Understand where it came from. How does it reflect on you? Does it reflect on you? Or do you let other people tell you how it reflects on you? Screw you. I figured out myself. I don't need you to tell me a damn thing. It's like I don't like to be read to. Shut up. I'll learn Braille if I have to. I don't read to me. They have that, you can now buy books and they read them to you, the audio books. Jeez. I hate that. I really hate it. Like I said, I would learn Braille before I have somebody read a book to me. I see I'm about to run through. My husband is ill. On top of this, you've got Paris being, I don't know what. I mean, if you're a regular heterosexual, you shouldn't be at the Paris Olympics because everything is not, I mean, everything is built around somebody who's gender confused. Is that the way you put this nowadays? I really don't care how you put it. It's not up to me to label you any more than it's up to you to label me. But I know one thing. I sure as hell would be getting the hell out of Paris if I was down there now. And this is what you people have put out for days. And yet people on the street go, oh, it's really nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good thing they weren't doing that with the Quran because somebody would have blown up half their shit. And they wonder why people, as we used to call it, go postal. Because they see stuff like this and they're like, that's all right. Jesus welcomes everybody, as far as I know. I don't think he goes, did you have a bed partner last night that was a little different? No, that's not how that works. So they don't need recognition any more than we need recognition. I don't need somebody to say, well, you're this or that because you believe in man, women, sex, or whatever. I didn't even know how to put that because it's none of my damn business. It's just not. I'm so terrible that I actually fast forward when they do that snogging thing. Everybody's got to swallow some face somewhere in a movie every time. The whole of California is sinking, and their second face in a basement that's filling with water. I don't get it. So why is it being thrown down our throats? Why is everybody going, oh, that's okay. That's not racist on their part. The hell of that. It's total racism on their part. Totally racist. And many other things. Many other things. When they're telling Israeli students they can't go on campus or they can't get somewhere because they're going to kill them because they're Jewish. But it's okay for them to be whatever the hell they are. It's okay to deface campuses after campus after campus. Did anybody see what Paris looked like when they finally got these people to leave just these few blocks? There was a foot of glass and trash and burned bikes and so forth and so on. Same thing that I've seen in Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, LA. When do people stand up and protect their own citizens, be they any nationality or from any? We have people here from Bosnia. We got people here from Guadalajara. We got people here from Africa. We got people here from Ireland. It doesn't make a damn difference. Either you're an American or get the hell out. Either you came here because you wanted a life like our laws were. That's great. Come through the channels. We don't have a problem with you. But if you come here to change my country into your country, I'd have done been my ass over in your country if I wanted my country to be your country. So get the hell out. And there's many more like me who are starting to say the same blooming thing. If you are arresting these people, do the same thing that they're starting to do now in Scotland, Ireland, UK, Canada, and I hope here, which hopefully will change once the new presidency is in. They asked the Tsarina, old giggle girl VP, when she was going to the border and she said something, they actually said, you haven't been to the border. And she said, but I haven't been to Europe either. Let's get you a freaking perch. Get your ass to the border from a plane. Yeah. I'm crueler. But yeah, this is shit we've been hearing. This is shit we've been taking for some time, guys. I've been screaming this since 1980s. long before, like I said, these attacks actually occurred. Then you had 911, 9/11. I have a question too. Why is the bell only rang? And yes, there were horrendous amount of casualties on 9/11. But why are only the ones in the towers recognized? What about the people at the Pentagon? What about the people that hit the Pennsylvania cornfield, the entire plane? What about those people? I don't hear nothing about them. It's just the towers. Well, the Pentagon obviously don't want to talk about it because they had that shit fixed up in like 24 hours, man. Flag was draped over it, and ding, 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 ding. Next thing you know, that shit was fixed. Didn't take 10 years like it did for, well, I think it took longer than 10 years for the tower space footprint to be repaired. I would like to know what happened to Building 7 because it was nowhere near anything that was going wrong. It wasn't on fire. Debris didn't hit it, and it pancaked too. Lots of questions there. You should look up the engineers' investigation into 9/11 and the towers fall and Building 7. I think you'd be rather educated when you come away from that. Yeah. Another conspiracy label was put on that one. If you have the truth, babe, well, you're a conspiracy theorist. And if we can find the truth, it's a hard thing to find nowadays. The truth. When I saw Paris with the Olympics, I said, if I'd have come there, it's so hot. I want my money back on back now. But you couldn't do that because you're watching Paris burn down, just like I said, major cities here in the US, UK, and so forth. When they have a rally and all you see are Palestinian flags and there's a couple 100,000 people there, you have a problem. Yeah, you got a major problem. You're losing your country, and your people are about to be shot where they stand. Mind you, the UK doesn't allow weapons, and they've been trying to take the Americans' weapons for a long time. Long, long time. People don't realize that, but they've been trying to do that. They're also trying to get your ammo, since they reckon maybe some of us get to keep the guns. Well, what you can do with the gun if you don't have the ammo and you don't know how to use a reload machine. Fortunately, my husband does. Happens with veteran families. We homegrown terrorists, as we're called. God help you that you never find something like that. If this 20-year-old shooter could practice once a day before, grab a ladder you can see from space, shoot up the only building that's closer than the Secret Service snipers to the podium, and bada bing, bada boom. This guy was that good? Come on. How many people said this? I counted 6 that came forward with the footage showing this guy. They blurred out. You can tell his body sitting there with the gun and just blurred out. So there's obviously footage out there. They're snatching the hell out of it, but that's not going to keep it gone. I hope. Let's see. Something has to change here in America too. If you don't start pulling the visas of these people that are doing this, then more grief is going to come down the line. Instead, you guys change names of bases. You take down statues that have been there 200-300 years. Well, why don't you just say, shoot us in the back of the head, you take the country by? Because that's what you're doing. You're shooting yourself in your own foot. And there's more of us that are finally trying to say and taking to the areas to say, knock it off. Either fly right or go to their country. Now, they have this problem in let's free Palestine. Get your ass over there and free Palestine. You can't free Palestine from over here. It ain't our country. Ain't that supposed to be your country? All these people at the UN saying, yeah, let them have that as a country. Well, okay, then what they doing over here? What they doing in the United Kingdom? Canada, here, Italy, Spain, France, Germany, Denmark, everywhere. This is an evil seed that has been allowed to be nurtured and grown in all of the democratic parts of the world for decades. And if you don't put out those fires, guys, it will turn around and burn every last one of you but them. They're the ones who are racist. They're the ones who are blind. They're the ones who are trying to shove it down your throats while destroying your institutions, your government, and your people. I'm probably going to get off my soliloquy stand here and say again, come see me, throw it in the comments. I have live chat on generally every time I'm up here. But if you see me, I will try to throw this up into Facebook. I just can't seem to get 2 seconds to myself lately. What with my husband ill as well. He's got a doctor's appointment today and all this other things are going on. So, yeah, I didn't get on to some other points because it just draws me back into so many wrongs that are going on that I fear for my country dreadfully. I fear for democracy in the free world. I really, really fear for the free world. And mind you, there's not a Muslim alive. I mean, I've heard these things said in the last week, even that Sharia law will persist, that either we will capitulate to Sharia law or we will be killed. And that is what the Quran supposedly says. It technically, from what I've told, is does not. I tried to do my own research. But if you do not become like them, they kill you. They kill their own family members. Their family members get money because they go out and they're martyrs. Read it and weep, folks. Make up your own mind. Stop being sheep led around by the bell. You're going to hell. They're leading that Pied Piper straight to hell. They're going to kill you. The other thing that was another thing I need to point out is that people kept saying, why were so many Jewish people killed during World War II? Well, they were following the law. They followed the law. This started in the late 30s. That's not pointed out in your education systems. It's like 41 to 45. No. This started out in the late 30s. By the time 1940 come around, how they were taking Poland or what have you. 41 to 45s and the Allied powers got together and had to go in because they attacked Pearl Harbor and so forth and so on. Just learn your history. Mm-hmm. And that's why there were so many Jewish people. Because by the time they realized that there was nothing they could do to cooperate with the law but die, it was too late for them to go anywhere. Do you think they led their kids over to the side of a pit knowing they were about to be shot and added to it for no reason? No. I can't believe none of us are that stupid that we really believe that these guys said, hey, I'm okay. I'm good with that. Bring the 3-year-old. No. No. I've heard others say that this never happened, that the Holocaust never happened. Really? You have an internet. Use it. Try not to show the world how stupid your ass really is. It's free. It's there. It's the truth. Get over it and move on. You can't undo something yet they're doing a good job of it. So horrific as that. But this is exactly what you're doing in every country now. Most of us will be here illegally without knowing that our lives are forfeit because we followed the law. I say follow the law at your own peril. These are dark days. They really are. I almost don't have a positive note to say on this. I do hope that there are other people out there that will reach out and talk to me. Maybe tell me I'm wrong. It's been known to happen. Very rarely. In the meantime, it's for educational purposes only. I kid. It's entertainment purposes. Although I think it's an education at the same time. They'll probably take that off. They may take the entire broadcast down. I don't know. And hopefully I'll have time to throw it on Facebook. I have not done that for months. So be at peace, everybody. Watch your 6. Toodle pip, guys.